Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some frickin' money. It's time for Bucket with Jo. Good morning, everyone, and happy Saturday. Jo here at SportsGrid. It's time for Bucket with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV, on X, as well as YouTube. I hope your day is starting off fantastic. And if you're a Montreal fan or a Devils fan, definitely great games out there on the ice. The Devils able to get that 3-2 win over the Carolina Hurricanes last night as a plus 145 underdog. Hopefully you had your money on them, as well as a Montreal winning 6-3 over the Washington Capitals. Performance of their playoffs out there on the ice last night. They just came completely alive in that game, really spreading that puck around. Was fantastic to watch. And then, well, those LA Kings couldn't get it done in Edmonton. The Edmonton Oilers, starting Calvin Pickard there, were able to get a 7-4 win. Now they exploded in that third period with 4 unanswered goals, getting that 7-4 win out there. They were a minus 150 favorite. You guys know I was rolling with the Kings in a lower scoring battle. I expected that shutdown. We saw those goals come fast and early. 2-1 first period for the Edmonton Oilers. And I knew at that point that my under was completely blown, as I did expect a 2-1 style win for the LA Kings. The LA Kings want to beat Edmonton in Edmonton. They need to lock down on the defensive side. So we'll see what they've got in them in game 4. But so far, this series is 2-1 for the LA Kings. We see the Washington Capitals and the Montreal Canadiens, with Washington still leading 2-1 and Carolina leading 2-1 over the New Jersey Devils. So jumping into today's matchup, you guys, we got some great ones out there on the ice. Tampa versus Florida, Vegas versus the Wild, Toronto versus the Senators, and the Dallas Stars versus the Colorado Avalanche. Now, Scott Wetzel and myself will be live on In-Game Live today, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you come over and join me, as we'll be live betting these games going on during that time, and different situations you can jump into at that point. But we'll get into today's games, go over all 4 of these games. We'll do the recap at the end, as well as those player props. And I see you all popping in here. Let's make some freaking money, Robin. That is for sure. You have the Devils on the money line. That plus 145 definitely was a sweet cash. And you had Connor McDavid and Ovechkin for a goal prop. Definitely a great way to go. Jamal, good morning to you. Matt, good to see you here this morning. Haven't seen you in the comments for a while. And thank you, John. Appreciate it. Let's make some freaking money. Jumping into this first game. Tampa. Well, Tampa needs to bring their absolute A game here versus the Florida Panthers. Not only did Florida win the first games, but they won the first 2 games on the road in Tampa. So we're looking at this series being 2-0 for the Florida Panthers. We have them rolling in as the favorite at home, minus 140. You guys know I don't want to lay that juice. Plus 116 here for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and a total of 5.5. Minus 118 to the over 5.5. Now, there's a couple different ways I'm going to take this. Let's firstly go over what we saw in game 1 and game 2, and then where we're going to turn. Andre Vasilevsky expected again tonight for Tampa. There's no reason for them to yank him. Game 2, he saved 21 of 22 shots on his goal. In game 1, 6 of 17. So if he had a performance like game 1 and game 2, then you would think, well, maybe a goaltending change is needed here. But with that strong performance in game 2, we will see Andre Vasilevsky back out on the ice tonight. Bobrovsky was able to get a shutout in that last game, in game 2, stopping all 19 of the shots on his net. In game 1, he allowed 2 goals on 22. So definitely the stronger goaltender has been Bobrovsky. We saw the power play conversion struggle in game 2 for both of these teams. Both teams came out with solid kills. Tampa had 5 opportunities, 0 power play points put up on the board, and the Florida Panthers had 3 opportunities in game 2. The Florida Panthers also won 51.9% of the faceoffs in game 2. And when we look at game 1, both teams were able to convert on that power play. So the biggest difference between game 1 and game 2 for Tampa was their kill. In game 1, they allowed all 3 opportunities on that power play to convert for the Florida Panthers. And in game 2, they shut that completely down. So when we saw the Florida Panthers in game 1 on that kill, they killed off 2 of the 3 opportunities that Tampa had. So Tampa did convert on 1. We're seeing the physicality really come out of the Florida Panthers. 48 hits on Tampa in game 1, 20 or 34 in game 2, and the Tampa Bay Lightning returning more hits in game 2 with 38. I do think this should be Tampa's game where they really need to play their best hockey out there, but I still think Florida gets the win. I'm looking for a 4-2 style win for the Florida Panthers. I don't absolutely love it. I could see a 4-3 situation, so I wouldn't jump on that puck line. I think these goals start in the first period. I'm going to look at the first period over 1.5 goals at -122. Both teams to score in the first period at +170 as well. Game 1, the first period was a 2-1 style game with Florida scoring 2 and Tampa scoring 1. I really do think this could play out very similar here. So I'm looking for a fast first period. Game 1, we did see, it was game 2, we saw 1 goal. That was the lower scoring one. So 1 goal in the first, Florida able to get the win in game 1. We did see that 2-1 first period. Now, you got to look at some players that should be out of this lineup. Well, we know Brandon Hagel will be out of the Tampa Bay Lightning for his hit on Barkov. Now, Barkov is listed day-to-day, undisclosed, after taking that hit from Brandon Hagel. So Brandon Hagel not in the lineup tonight. He had a 5-minute major in that last game because of that hit, and now suspension for 1 game. Without Barkov in the lineup, I do think there's still other playmakers out there. The Florida Panthers really spreading that puck around, and Nate Schmidt has led this club so far with 3 goals. So it's kind of crazy. It's not Matthew Tkachuk, it's not Sam Bennett, it's not Sam Reinhart. They are spreading that puck around. I like the Sams for sure. On the other side for Tampa, it's Braden Point, who I love to go to because I do think Nikita Kucherov, the lines are just too overvalued on him. So I'll take another chance on Braden Point for a power play point tonight here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I do think the power play has to convert for Tampa. They're going to be more desperate on that power play. They don't want to go down 3-0 in this series. And then I look at Florida and I look at Matthew Tkachuk. I look at the Sams, Sam Bennett and Sam Reinhart, and I'm going to take their points tonight to come out nice and strong. So over 5.5 would be where I'd go with this full game total. Give me that first period to start off hot. I hope you're having an amazing weekend. My morning is starting off with coffee and you guys. So that is a great start to the weekend. Let's make some freaking dough. That is for sure. Oh, Daniel, thank you. I really appreciate, I can't talk this morning. Appreciate your guys' kind words. Let's turn to the Vegas Golden Knights and the Minnesota Wild. Now, Minnesota shocked everyone unless you were sitting here with me riding with the Minnesota Wild with that great almost 2-1 money for us last game. They were able to cash it. And you guys, I want to take a chance on the Minnesota Wild again. Looking at the Vegas Golden Knights, who just have no answer for Kaprizov out there on the ice. I did think Vegas was a better team coming into this series, but I want to bet on Vegas when we get back to the Fortress. And yes, that does mean because the Wild lead this series 2-1. If Vegas goes down another game tonight, this will be a 3-1 series going back to Vegas for game 5. And I think it has every opportunity. At that point, I will be riding on Vegas to win game 5. We'll have that 2-3 series coming back in here to Minnesota. And then it's going to be up to Vegas to pull off a win in Minnesota. They got to find a way to shut down Kaprizov, and they just haven't had an answer for him thus far. Aiden Hill in a net versus Gustafsson. Now, Gustafsson, I don't have full faith in. So I do think if the Wild are able to win this, they have to go over 2.5 goals. I know the Wild are strong defensively, and that is their strong suit. But this Wild's team offensively with Kaprizov and Matt Boldy and Eriksson Ek out there have to score these goals to beat the Vegas Golden Knights because we know the playmakers of Vegas, it's like they haven't come alive in this first round. We've got Jack Eichel without a point, Mark Stone getting all of these high danger shots and not converting to that goal. So, and then you got Thomas Hertl, and Thomas Hertl has been nice and strong, but you've got the playmakers for Vegas. I do think this has to be a higher scoring game. It goes against everything that we see in playoffs, those lockdown kind of style of games where no one wants to take those chances. The problem is Vegas can't play that style because it can't shut down Kaprizov. So game 3, we saw Vegas go 0-4 on the power play, but they controlled the faceoffs, 57.6% of those faceoffs. They absolutely locked it down. They were the more physical team too. 42 hits compared to only 26 for the Minnesota Wild. 32 shots on goal, 31 for the Wild. So both teams were able to get over 30 shots on goal. The defenses really aren't showing up as strong as I would like to see both of these defenses. I want to see this series, 20, 24 shots on net for both of these teams as those defenses come out, but we just haven't seen it. Game 2, 0-0 on the power play for Vegas. 0-1 for the Wild. So these teams are playing really disciplined. We still saw Vegas win those faceoff 58.8%. And then in game 1, that was a huge difference here. I know Vegas won game 1, but we did see the Minnesota Wild control those faceoffs. They controlled 60% of the faceoffs in Vegas in that first game. They were so physical out there, most physical game out there yet. 54 hits they laid out on Vegas. So game 4 tonight, the Wild lead the series 2-1. I'm looking for them to take a 3-1 lead going back to Vegas, and then Vegas to answer back in the next game. That will be an auto bet as soon as this game, or as soon as those lines come out for me to take Vegas in the next one. The Wild's team total over 2.5 is -122, and I absolutely love it. And yes, they haven't gone over 2.5 goals yet in this series. We saw Vegas win game 1 4-2 with an empty netter. We saw the Wild win game 2 5-2 with an empty netter, so they have gone over. Sorry, I don't even know I said that. And then we saw game 3 go over 5-2 empty netter as well. So the team that has won has gone over 2.5 because I do think the Wild are going to win. I could really see it. I'm going to look at the special teams here for the Wild to be able to convert. And that's a huge difference that we did see. So in game 3, they went 2 and 4 on of their 4 opportunities on the power play, and they shut down 4 opportunities for Vegas. So if they're able to do that, it could be that lower scoring game, but I think Vegas needs to step up offensively. It starts with Mark Stone and Jack Eichel. Jack Eichel for the goals +190, yet to register a point, let alone a goal in this series. So I am looking for Jack Eichel for the 1+ points at +1. Sorry, the 2+ points you got to take him to. 2+ points is +235. The anytime goal coming in at +190. Then I would look at Mark Stone. I love Mark Stone for the goal. He's getting those high danger opportunities. He's coming in at +320 for the anytime goal. You could just look at the point at -120 as well. Mark Stone, Jack Eichel can turn around Vegas. Thomas Hertl for the point tonight, -128. When we look over at the Minnesota Wild, it is Kaprizov, 2+ points for Kaprizov at +168, the goal at +125. I don't see Vegas finding an answer for him out of thin air here in Minnesota. I think they'll have an answer when they get to back home to Vegas. Remember, they'll have the last change when they're at home. The Wild will have that upper hand with the last change. They will get the matchups they want for Kaprizov out there on the ice, which is deadly here. And that will, I do believe, result in the Minnesota Wild getting the win. So give me that plus money on Minnesota. Give me their team total over as well. And then if you just want to look at Kaprizov and Boldy for a point, because it's too juicy for just Kaprizov for the point, too juicy for Boldy for a point, parlayed together, it's still freaking juicy. -143 for the two of them for a point parlay, but definitely something you could look at. I'm going to take Kaprizov for the goal at +125, 2+ points at +168. Okay. We are having trouble streaming to X today. I am not sure why. So sorry if we dropped off to anyone there on X. I don't know what is happening, you guys. Sorry about that. Let's move on to Toronto versus Ottawa. So the Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the Ottawa Senators. Game 4, do or die for the Ottawa Senators. Now, after we went into game 3, you were able to get the Leafs to sweep the series at +200. You're not really getting much value now. If you think they get the sweep, you're getting the same as the money line price tonight for Toronto, which is -104. So hopefully, if you guys believe that Toronto was going to be able to win the last game, you took that sweep because it has every opportunity of cashing tonight. Ottawa with their backs against the wall, do they get the gentleman's sweep? So meaning that they win today and then Toronto finishes it off in game 5. Anyone sitting on the under 5.5 in the series definitely has to be feeling pretty comfortable with what they're seeing so far. I thought Ottawa would push Toronto a lot more in this series, and we have seen the last 2 games go to OT. So it's not like Ottawa hasn't been playing good hockey out there. They have been. They've been able to go to overtime with Toronto, and we know Toronto struggles in the postseason to finish out series and to be able to record the win. So Toronto -104, -115 for the Ottawa Senators, total 5.5. The juice is on that over at -118. Biggest difference here is goaltending. You look at Stolarz versus Allmark. Allmark has allowed those goals in overtime. You look at his numbers, 0-3 in this series with a 3.91. 3.91 goals against average, you guys. Like, just shoot yourself in the foot there as a goaltender. That save percentage in 815. So Allmark really needs to get support from his defense. Otherwise, they have no opportunity of getting the win. Stallars, on the other hand, fantastic numbers. 3-0 with a 1.95 goals against average and a 926 save percentage. So including the regular season, Stallars has won 11 straight games. So the last time he lost was before March 20th. So Stallars has been completely dominant. He's been fire between the pipes. And it's a lot better than I expected out here for the Toronto Maple Leafs, looking like they will secure a win into round 2. So game 1, they won 6-2, 56% of the faceoffs they controlled. They went 3-6 on that power play. While the Ottawa Senators weren't able to convert on that power play, they came out so physical, 56 hits, but that physicality didn't pay off. They spent time in the penalty box, allowed the Toronto Maple Leafs to convert. Now in game 2, we saw Toronto win 3-2 in overtime, controlled 53% of the faceoffs. In game 3, they won 3-2. That faceoff, it came out so strong. They controlled 63.73% of those faceoffs. If Ottawa wants to win, they need to start winning these faceoffs, because if you win the faceoffs, you control the puck and you control the game. We also need to see them play a less physical game, I really think. There came out in the last game 44 hits to 37 for Toronto. It's like they're caring more about wearing down this team physically than playing an offensive strong game. So I need Ottawa to come out stronger so they don't get swept. Now, could we see Forsberg in net is another question mark I have. I think if Allmark comes out and struggles straight out of the gate, we could see Anton Forsberg thrown in for the Ottawa Senators. We know that these goaltenders, that does happen. We saw in Washington and the Montreal game, both goaltenders actually have to leave injuries. So we'll be updating that when we look at that next game. But I expect the Ottawa Senators to pick up a win and keep their hopes alive for a miracle comeback. I don't see the miracle comeback coming, you guys, but it's not over until it's over. And this is game 4. If the Ottawa Senators can win this tonight, push it back to Toronto, win another one, Toronto just needs one more win to take this series. But I do think Ottawa is going to come out scrappy. This series has all been about the physicality and the forechecks out there. And I think Ottawa should be able to do enough. Now, if Ottawa is going to win, I think they win the first period. I'm not going to touch them for the full game, you guys, because I have to give the respect to Stallars and Toronto and what they've been able to do. Toronto has been exceeding my expectations in this series thus far. I'm going to take the Senators first period money line. That's coming in at -160. If they want to win it, they have to get off to that fast start at home. The puck line in the first period, I'll take for a half unit on the money line. The puck line laying half a goal coming in at +184 in that first period. We saw game one go 2-1. The Leafs win the first period. We saw game 2, the Leafs win the first period 2-0, and game 3, 0-0 first period. I just need the Sens to come out, get that first period win with their backs against the wall. Toronto's going to look to play that more defensive game. Toronto holding this lead 3-0, don't have to be the team that run and guns out there. And I do think the Ottawa Senators, it's imperative for them to get off to that fast start. So look for the fast start out of the Ottawa Senators. Look for Toronto to play more of a keep away game in this one. Just try to secure a win and get a rest here before the second series starts. But I think Ottawa makes a game of it tonight. And if Ottawa is winning, Brady Tkachuk is scoring. +160 for Brady Tkachuk for the anytime goal. He had 5 shots on goal in the last game and 0 points. Drake Batherson had a goal and 4 shots in the last game. I love Drake Batherson and Brady Tkachuk to come out strong. But you got Shane Pinto, you got Dylan Cousins as well. Riley Gregg was able to get a goal in the last one. On the other side, you got to look at Max Domi, Matthew Knives, Austin Matthews, and Mitch Marner. Now, interesting, if you like Toronto, you can just take their team total. Team total for Toronto, over 2.5 goals, -154. It's interesting. The over 2.5 goals for Ottawa is -164. They won't let you parlay those together, but it's looking like the books are thinking this one goes over that total nicely. You could also look at the first period over 1.5. Again, I'll look at the Sens in the first period and the Sens players for their team totals to the over. The Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche is the next game on the board. So the Dallas Stars coming in as the underdog in this one were able to pull off the upset win in game 3 in Colorado. I didn't expect it in a low scoring game as well, you guys. I expected Colorado to come out absolutely dominate in that last game. Now, Valerie Nichushkin opened up the scoring in the first period. We went 1-0 into that third period. Halfway through the third period, Jamie Benn on a freaking power play converted a goal, went 1-1 into overtime, and the rest was history. Tyler Sequin back in the lineup as we finished the regular season for the Dallas Stars, scored that overtime goal. So that's how game 3 played out. I'm looking for Colorado to come back with a vengeance in this one. They have so many strong playmakers. Their offense is so elite out there. They cannot allow the Dallas Stars to get another win here. I do think it's imperative for Colorado to get this win tonight. They're going to know it. It needs to go back to Dallas, tied 2-2 apiece. If they cannot tie this up here, then, the Dallas Stars just might take this series from them, because I do think Colorado's biggest advantage over Dallas is their speed and their energy to come out in these games. Offensively, I think they're the stronger team, but they need to wear out the Dallas Stars in a game where Dallas has struggled before this series to play a full 60 minutes. So looking at the lines right now, -184 for the Colorado Avalanche, +152 for the Dallas Stars, and we have a total of 6.5. It's -134 to the under. You're going to get plus money to the over 6.5 at +110. Now, playoff hockey is supposed to be that lockdown style of game, but you do see teams with those empty netters, and it helps push us over those totals. I wish it was a 5.5. We saw game 1 be that 5-1 win for Colorado in Dallas. Game 2, we saw Dallas win 4-3 in overtime, and game 3, overtime win for Dallas in Colorado, 2-1. That game, I think, is an outlier. I think we do see more goals coming in this matchup between these two. Game 3, the Avs, I still can't believe how they led going into that third period. If it wasn't for that power play by Jamie Benn, his ability to get that goal, we would have been sitting here with Colorado with a 2-1 lead and not the Dallas Stars. So I'm going to look for Colorado to answer back fast in that first period. Colorado first period on the puck line, laying a half a goal, coming in at +154. I really do believe this is a 1-0, 2-0, 2-1 first period for the Colorado Avalanche, just depending on how defense comes out. But Colorado able to at least cover the half a goal puck line in the first period. Now, they won the first period in the last game, like I said, 1-0. That went all the way through into that third period. Game 2, both teams were able to get on the board in the first period. So both teams to score in the first period. Game 1 was 0-0. So I'm kind of cautious of both teams to score. While I do think it could happen, I do think it's a better bet just to take the Avs laying the half a goal and get it done. Ross Colton listed day to day. Now, if Colorado's winning, Nathan MacKinnon is scoring out there. I'd look at Nathan MacKinnon for 2+ points. I'm going to be cautious on the player props because the Avs have been kind of spreading this puck around as well. And we know between Martin Necas, Brock Nelson, Nathan MacKinnon, so many playmakers out there. We'll see if Ross Colton's going to hit the ice. Valerie Nichushkin finally getting in the game in that last one. And on the other side, Mikko Rantanen, how strong he has been for Dallas. He was great in that last game for them. So staying off the player props, yes, I can go over the points at the end as well. So you guys, let's get into this recap here. And then after the recap, we are going to do those player props to 2+ points. And then you guys join me on the grid, 4 to 8 p.m. Eastern. You don't want to miss this. Scott Wetzel and I talking for 4 straight hours about everything happening. Roll with the Thunder. Lay the freaking points with the Oklahoma City Thunder today. They are going to steamroll in game 4. So anyway, that's where I'm going in that one. The Tampa Bay Lightning versus the Florida Panthers. Hockey recap time. Give me Florida to win this in a 4-2 style game. You can look at their over 3.5 goals. It's coming in at +140. You guys know that's kind of bit me a little bit. So what I like better is the first period over 1.5 goals at -122. Both teams to score in the first period at +170. I do think the Florida Panthers go out of that first period 2-1 style lead. Give me the over 5.5. And when you're looking at players in this one for Florida, Sam Reinhart, Sam Bennett, and Matthew Tkachuk. If you're looking at Tampa, I do like Braden Point better than I do Nikita Kucherov. The Vegas Golden Knights and the Minnesota Wild. Give me the Wild's team total over 2.5 goals at -122. Give me Kaprizov to stay unstoppable out there. 2+ points for Kaprizov at +168. Yes, I would love more value, but the books will not give it to you. The goal at +125. But I do think Kaprizov and Boldy parlayed together for a point at -143. You could also find another playmate to throw in there. You could take even a player from Vegas and throw it in and boost up your odds. If you threw Mark Stone in with Kaprizov and Boldy, you're going to get plus money. So I'm going to take Mark Stone for the goal at +320, being getting the high danger shots. I'll either also take him for a point at -120. And Jack Eichel has to freaking come alive for Vegas tonight. Give me Jack Eichel for the goal at +190. Yet to record a point in this series. 2+ points for Eichel. Can we see the hat trick if Gustafsson comes out and falls on his face? We absolutely could. I think Jack Eichel is one of the best players out there on the ice. I can't believe he's yet to record a point. I know I like the Wild's team total over 2.5, but this could be that 3-4 style win, all right? For the Wild, winning at 4-3, we could see Jack Eichel with a hat trick. Definitely worth a sprinkle for a player that needs to get back in this game. But I'll just take the 2+ points. Actually, now I said it for the hat trick. I'll sprinkle, but 2+ points at +235. Thomas Hertl you can look at as well. And if you do think Vegas is going to get 4 goals in this game, I don't know if they get 4, you guys. I think they get 3, but 4 goals, 3 over 3.5 for Vegas. If we do see Eichel and Stone go off, over 3.5 goals is +128. Toronto and Ottawa. Toronto looks to close out this series tonight. Can they get it done versus an Ottawa Senators team with their backs up against the wall? If Toronto's going to win, I think they win late. Give me the Ottawa Senators first period. Money line at -116. Puck line laying a half a goal at +184. Now, I know these elimination series should be locked down, but if the Sens want a chance to win, they can't lock down on the defensive side because Allmark hasn't been able to stop anything out there. He's been giving up these goals. That save percentage is brutal in this series for the amount of shots. So if the Sens can win, this game goes over that total. I don't believe they can win this in a 3-1 style game here. I love Allmark and I love what he can do on the ice, but I don't have the faith in him tonight. So Sens first period to get on the board. Money line -116, puck line minus a half a goal at +184. And then Matthew Tkachuk for the goal at +160. Drake Batherson for his point. So parlay Batherson and Tkachuk for a point tonight. Great plus money. And then the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche. Give me the Avs to answer back here in game 4. First period on the puck line, laying a half a goal at +154. I do think they win this 2-0, 1-0, 2-1 style first period, so I can't hit the both teams to score or the over 1.5. I love the Avs in the first period to answer back after losing that last game at home 2-1 with an early lead in that game that with a late comeback by the Stars forced them to overtime. Dallas will be looking for revenge. Ross Colton listed day-to-day, but look at Nathan McKinnon for the anytime goal here for the Colorado Avalanche. But you've also got Natchez and Brock Nelson, who I would circle out there. So that is the recap. My favorite players for points tonight and goals. Brady Tkachuk, I do think you could take a shot on him for 2+ points. He needs to be pivotal here for the Ottawa Senators. He, in the last game, had 5 shots on goal, 0 points. Brady Tkachuk is a long shot for 2+, but I think he can get it done. I would look at Nathan McKinnon, my favorite player for the Colorado game. When we're looking at the Vegas game, I will look here at Mark Stone. I think he is my favorite player for the goal at +320. Jack Eichel for 2+ points. I love as well. And then Kaprizov, my favorite player prop of tonight is Kaprizov. I do think the Wild, you're getting plus money. They have every opportunity of pulling off this win here tonight. I will back them on the money line. I'll back Kaprizov for 2+ points. Kaprizov and Boldy for those points together. Actually, if you want to do Kaprizov and Boldy both for 2+ points and get like +1,000 to your money, I think it is a great way to go. Vegas will have an answer when they get last change back in game 5. In Vegas. They're not going to have an answer for Kaprizov when the Minnesota Wild get the last change tonight. So love the Wild. Matt, thank you so much. Yeah, you guys, look at this, 2+ points. I love it. They should be able to get it. So if you guys can like, share, retweet, subscribe, I'd appreciate it. But you guys, all the best in all of your bets out there. Let's make some freaking money. Don't forget about the NBA. Don't forget about MLB. I kind of got like a parlay in MLB, the Dodgers game at the end of the night. So stay tuned for that. It will be coming out soon. Yeah, Goldie and Kaprizov are 500. So it is a great, great bet to look at them to come out and get those points on the board. But you guys, it's going to be a fantastic night. Enjoy all of the action. The first game, the puck is actually dropping at 1 p.m. Eastern here. So in 28 minutes between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers. So make sure you get that game on and enjoy. Let's make some freaking money. Stay hot out there, you guys. We'll see you tomorrow noon Eastern here on SportsGrid TV on X. Hit some anytime goal scorers as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies.